Well, hello. Happy Prosperity Day, everybody. How are y'all doing? Thank you for dropping in. Kind of like a coffee shop. Remember back in the days? Yeah. Anyway, I think actually we're called coffee houses. But anyway, uh, as I continued to dig out on Joe Cocker, yes, I know y'all are out there in the background, but man, how many of you have ever got to see Joe Cocker? Particularly Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Got to see that concert. Wow. Talk about a band of gypsies. I tell you what. And they made a movie of that. And if you've never seen it, check it out. Really, I thought they did a really great job of pulling you in and making you feel like, you were one of the band members. And the Mad Dogs and Englishmen, it was a caravan. That's all you can say. And I could have only imagined the talent, you know, the least of which, Mr. Leon Russell. So, yeah, yeah. If you tune in this channel, we do talk about music and talk about those concerts because depending on your point of view, they didn't have rock and roll back in, the first century or 1000 BC, We did. Yeah. Anyway, welcome everybody. How is everyone out there? Let me just speak favor over us all, planting that seed. Nothing missing, nothing broken be our reality. That is that peace that surpasses all understanding, right? So, Roger, read your thing. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, we are in that nowhere, that in between zone, and all bets are off. I mean, it's like, you know, giddy up, you know, time to put the big boy britches on. Yep. And as they say, just suck it up, cupcake, because here we go. And I have no doubt that we're already in it. The veil has been ripped asunder, and there's shit crossing both ways now. Yeah. Could you imagine though, you open up a portal. We do it all the time. I mean, if you pray, it's what you've done, to anyway. Um, and you step through it. What the freak would they see of you? I mean, would you look like some kind of freaking Medusa? You know, I had this question I asked someone over the week, and I said, so tell me, what does God look like? Is God like, Ricky Nelson? Is he like Elvis Presley, George Michael? I mean, what? I mean, he would be an Adonis, right? Often said that the conception of what men, and I think it's so often for profit, I really do, and this goes back millennia, but they make these drawings of these really freakazoid, looking beings, demons and angels. And my contention is I don't think it's that way at all. If they're so involved in our stuff, like I mean, why are they here to begin with, right? Are they just freaking bored on the other side? Oh, let's go down to Earth and let's see what kind of shit we can stir up today. I don't know, but they're here apparently. And so my thing is, why would a demon want to look ugly? It's a question I asked a group of Christians recently. I said, so you tell me this whole thing about Satan and the devil, that, it was a thing of pride. First of all, how does that happen? You're in perfection. And you're going to tell me that all of a sudden you wake up one day and you look into the proverbial golden mirror and you go, what the, no, I just, no, I don't. But anyway, if you follow the script, and I said, so you got a creature of pride. Apparently, that was the first sin, and, caused it to fall. Why would it be ugly? If it's here with us, I'm just telling you right now, you know, If it's a dude, I mean, it's going to look like a dude, you know? I mean, a good looking dude. You know what I'm talking about? If it's a chick, I mean, she's going to be hot. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. If they want to emulate us, look like us, get involved with us, and that's what we're really going to get into today is a lot of those grimoires. You know, these are grimoire meaning instruction book, particular of magic or conjuring. If you pray to God, you're conjuring. I mean, so why all the spookiness? But anyway, getting back to conclude that thought, I mean, if these beings, these spiritual beings exist, I mean, now if it's over there in their natural state, I have no freaking idea what that looks like. But I'm just telling you here, man, they're going to want to look good. If, for instance, they're a white dude, I mean, I don't think that, they're probably going to have a great tan. You know what I'm saying? Um, and obviously a full head of hair, you know, just that's one of those things that God cursed us with, and which makes it right. Because see, if God cursed us first, then we can get to curse him. I mean, that's how it works. But finishing the thought, I mean, all these babes and these dudes, if they be angels, if they be demons, and don't tell me they don't have sex. That's bullshit. You know, that book contradicts you on that. I mean, how do these 20 angels come down and have a hard on? What? They don't have a vagina over there? Hey, you got to get real about this, but I'm just saying. Moving right on along. So, Roger, back to your point. I have no doubt we'll be seeing some crazy ass stuff. Grace, how you doing, darling? I'm going back in there and looking in the chat, and Deborah, she's listening, not awake yet. Good morning. Good morning. It's a brand new day. Indeed. There you go. You had Steiger singing into it. I want to find Christ and touch Wayne. There you go. Um, Brian, good to see you, brother. Go, go. All the way from Croatia. Brother, love you. Appreciate it. Colleen, how are you, sweetie? And Emperor Rex and Jackie J. What's up, darling? Rick, how you doing, brother? Everything doing good? Far out. Linda Espinoza, how are you? And Peter, what's up, brother? DC, good to see you. It's been a little while where I just get to sit back and relax and kind of talk with y'all. Yeah, I was going to go out and try to mow. Forget that shit. So damn wet back there. And we have an abundance of amphibians. Lots of frogs, turtles, tortoises. We have lizards everywhere. I actually saw a golden lizard. Literally. I was watching an interesting The Witcher. And I thought that the creative department in their animation did a great job of that golden dragon. If you've watched the series, you know what I'm talking about. That was one beautiful dragon. Look, yeah. Any, but continuing on, but they're everywhere. And at night, it's a cacophony of sex going on. Mating season, baby. You only got so many days, man. You got to take care of business. And it's also, a good sign for us here because, amphibians, frogs, lizards, they're very sensitive to the ecosystem. And if there's something off in the ecosystem, then, they won't be around. And plus the fact that there is this huge pond right next to our property. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. Continuing on. Truth Co-op. What's happening? Salutations. El Gapo. Good to see you, my friend. Lost in Space. Much appreciation, brother. Chloe, good to see you, dear. I'm going to get some more crystals from you on. Brandon, good to see you. And Susie Q as I go through. And Pamela. Knew a Pam back in the day. Lived right down the street from me. Two houses. So anyway, what else is going on? Freaking world is really getting ratcheted up, man. I'm telling you. And, you know, it's everywhere and you can't really ignore it. Um, you can try to change it. That's why I thought today, just for the fun of it, let us try to go into these books, that were written by humans. All books are. I guess what is it? The one that the guy wrote, what was it, the 16th century, the King of Sweden and the Queen. They wanted the book, it was called The Book of the Devil. The biggest book anywhere. I think it weighed 150 pounds. Tell me knowledge isn't going to bring you down exactly. Smart girl. Yeah, the world is freaking crazy. There's no doubt about it. Um, see, Floyd, Peter's interested in the crystals too. I've given them all away. All those that I've got from you, given them away. Yeah, that's what you do, You let it collect the energy and you pack it full and then you send it on its way. Giddy on up. Um, and back to those angel things. I mean, it's really weird. Uh, the giants. So I want to show y'all something. Let me pull this up. Well, thank you for the hearts. I saw that. Hello, Loretta. Good to see you. So just checking out the chat because I don't really get to do that a lot. Felix, what's up? I think Jupiter and Mercury are in Gemini. Yeah, I kind of feel it. I'll just be candid with you. It's like I got this positive. Yeah, it's like really, it's cool. It's like I love the fucking energy, man. Um, we are what we create. Abracadabra. Uh, yeah, those old mean mainstream religions. Yeah. But here's the thing. So check this out. I follow this guy. You can follow him too. He's on academic .edu. So we always talk about the giants, right? So check this out. And I'll try to get it into full little, bring it back down. Yeah, there they are. It's authentic pictures. No CGI, no Photoshop, but there you are. They ruled us at one time. We were this is where we get the modern day gods. It's ingrained to us. It was such a shock to our species that we still haven't recovered from it. All religions make you feel subservient. You can't be equal to God, which you really are, but far be it for me to say that. But they existed. And actually, these are the short guys, to be candid with you. His ancestors, if you go by the book of Enoch, says it was 45, um, there were 4,500s. And I think it was like 9 inches. And so if you did the math, that would make the original Nephilim, the first generation, and I have a caveat on that, that they were almost a mile in height. Modern physics would say that is impossible. But again, we don't have that history. It's obvious that our planet at one time was much bigger than it is now. And the atmosphere had to be of such that it could A, support gargantuism, dinosaurs, plant life, the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, where's that, South Dakota? I'm not sure which. But That's a tree, the tree stump. It's a cubit. That's what I was trying to think. Yeah. And there is the standard cubit, and then there's the royal cubit, which is from the tip of your finger to your elbow. So if the book of Enoch said that these original um, giants, Nephilim, Raphaim, however you want to look at it, um, holy crap, they would almost be 5,000 feet tall. That's that's incredible. But I don't know. Maybe when you get on the other side. Someone said, "What's the shirt?" Yeah, thanks. I like the style. It makes me feel really into the flow of energy. But yeah, anyway. And so if the book of King Og, I mean, that's where I think we get so much of our current history. And again, I contend that it so scarred us because God did not come and rescue us. Nobody did. We were being eaten. Um, and the whole genetic thing, think about that. That's why maybe, these extraterrestrials that we may call angels, whatever, the fact that they could produce semen, it begs for you to really get down into then angel lore. You know, I was taught that they were more androgynous than anything else. Apparently that ain't true. Um, some said that, or say that they have both sexual organs. Okay. Um, I don't know. We see it in the humans, that rarity of, true hermaphrodites. Hmm, figure it out. But yet that gene got into our gene pool, and there you go. Some say they still are here. If you read the book of Enoch, Enoch teaches that this God, whoever this God is, he said, I didn't create them. I didn't have anything to do with that. That's your creation. Time out. So wait a minute. So if there can be one creation, we just got evidence that there was a second. Hmm. Okay. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm a simple man. And then God says that since he didn't create them, that he didn't have any way to punish them. It wasn't his creation. And so apparently, this thing that, if this realm is the living realm, and if there's other realms, that means that, okay, that presupposes that there was something of a spirit, a soul that came into this realm called the living. All right, so then you've got these angelics, which were off-worlders, let's just say that. And then how did angels get taught about sex? I mean, what do they got a class up there? Is like Jesus teaching it or what? I don't know. But apparently they were really skilled at it. And if you read the story, the script, it says it taught you gals how to put that paint on your eyes and how to move your hips and how to get into the groove, man. And get those pheromones rolling, baby. What angel does that? I know. Or it's like, okay. I mean, I don't know. What is it? Was it Gucci originally? I mean, what? I mean, what's up with that? And we don't ever really know how many female angels were with those 200. I have no doubt that they're there, but it doesn't speak of them. Now that's really interesting. If a human was to have that reversed, oh, it gets deep, doesn't it? That's my point. It does get deep. But here we are. We're on the verge. The world, I mean, folks, that the fuse has been lit. There's no doubt about it. And it sucks. It I was out just walking, laying my hands on the trees and just it was we've had more foggy mornings here lately, and I love that. To me, the best time of meditation, I could dig on the beach. I could dig that, but there's something about when it's really kind of that dense fog and it's not cold, it's, not uncomfortable. And I can get pretty lost in that. And I was thinking, us as a species, we have this situation to where we can't live without war. And it really is sad. It's a sad thing about us. If we are in the sixth collapse, five previous, um, tells me that, maybe the Matrix 2 had it right. Remember what the architect said? Told Neo, he said, listen, we tried to make it perfect for you. It failed. He says, we not only tried once, we tried numerous times. And every time, humans collapsed it. And so here we are on the eve of World War III, really officially. I mean, this is when the missiles really will be flying and human life will once again be on this sacrificial altar, sacrificing blood to an unknown, unseen entity, deity. We seem to lose the appreciation of life. Maybe it's because we've never been really taught what life is. But we're here. Um, I still say there's a chance to turn this around. We'll talk more about it with the ladies tomorrow, but we've got to get our shit together. Talking about us in what we would call alternative points of spiritual belief. And I don't know. It seems like this negativity, and in that balance, negativity has a role to play. It's just that it can't become so overweighted. And because you know what happens on a teeter-totter? Y'all know this. And this is what's happening. So the idea of the teeter-totter, right, is have to have two people, of typically, even with a not so much equal weight, but they can find a balance. That's the idea of the teeter-totter. And plus the idea of going up and down until you get that wise ass that, gets it all the way down and your ass is hanging all the way up there and they jump off. Well, baby, it's just, you know exactly what's going to happen. That's going to hurt. Um, but the idea now is that it seems like humanity is eager for a fight. And I, I think we've been there before. Um, been doing a little studying on the between the mid 14th and 16th century, particularly in Europe and in the associated regions there. Those people were freaking bloodthirsty. And then you do a correlation to what the United States did in its growth and acquisition of land. We did it as well, bloody, gore. I mean, why is it that there's some human beings that just thrive on that? And they don't seem to be in the minority. but we're here. So they want a war? I guess, unless there is opposition worldwide to that, because either there are humans that are making these decisions or they're not human. Why would a human being put one human being at risk of death? Why? That's human? That represents humanity? And then you have those slaves that obediently go to commit suicide or state murder, one of the two. That's what war is. Someone's committing murder or self-inflicted suicide. It's like suicide by cop. Why would a human do that? And why would any other humans find that to be glorious? Why would they take money that could go to feed, to house, to completely rearrange the economy? But no, they'll take the essence of their people and they put it into war. You have agitators that purposely agitate men and women who are obviously mentally ill. They're either mentally ill or they're being paid to go out and do what we see is happening. Now, there's yet another perspective on that. What if there is at central ley line points on this planet that have been known about for tens of thousands of years? And these creatures, these beings that look like us, they've adapted to us, they know they carry an ancient knowledge. Because it seems that this war that we seem to cycle into all the time, it would appear that it's ancient. And that maybe our species is in a galactic arena, coliseum, because we shed each other's blood at things. The saddest thing that I'm seeing is that we're losing our appreciation of life. Unless life is no more than just to endure pain. But that other point of view, what if this is the result of something that has been, how should we say, kind of laughed at, taken half serious, but we use this word magic, and it's not the G-I-C, it's the G-I-C-K. One is an illusion. The other deals with metaphysical elements that define the physical laws. All laws can be broken. No single law is absolute. But if you're not taught that, and you are conditioned to think the opposite, then to that, when you hear that, that's kind of like La La Land. It makes great movies, great novels, but it's just La La Land. But you have to ask yourself, why is it our species, and it goes way back, have been involved in magic, conjuring, um, loosening, binding, working with elements that we in the modern era have been taught are just merely myths and don't exist, but yet there is a complete kingdom within itself of the elementals. Man is not the only one that shares this planet. This planet has an abundance of life that we are virtually unaware of. And when those things merge, because the universe is mental, as all magic is mental. But if you begin to understand that you can begin to use or cooperate with or go into business, so to speak, well, then you call these spells, you call these magic, you call these basically directing energies that intermix with the corporeal matter that we call reality. And so, magic. Do curses exist? Have any of you ever been targeted by a curse? Why do curses work? Why is it that you can speak something or chant or bind or loose a curse on another spirit? Depending on where your point of view is, that which most people perceive as reality, their God was the first to curse them. All of us. Didn't stop there. Went on to curse. In fact, if you ever want to read a list of those curses, it's right there in the book of Deuteronomy. I believe it's Deuteronomy 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. That God is really good at curses. And what's interesting about curses is that they master the elementals, the elements, that unseen substance, that once it's sprinkled upon the reality, it changes the reality. It works with the reality, and it only changes it just a little bit. I mean, that's where we learn to curse. You stub your toe. What's the first thing you're going to say? You're probably going to curse. Um, there's an energy, there is a power that's released when we get extremely focused in on that. Now, people will say, well, those things don't really count. Well, sure they do. Most people curse themselves. In fact, I can tell you the great portion of humanity is most of us, we're living under a curse that we put upon ourselves. You don't need no unseen spirit to aid you in that. They know this as well as you should. But we're not taught about that. We're not taught how to break a curse. I think there could be a whole lesson. By the way, this whole week, is this going to be fun? I think I have Chris Matthew coming in on Wednesday. He's released a new documentary. But I just thought this week would be kind of cool, be celebrating 11 years on this channel on YouTube. Can you imagine that? 11 years. Yeah. Figure that one out. But I think there could be a whole show that could be done on how to break the curse. If you have poverty in your life, it's a curse. If you have reoccurring sickness, it's a curse. I can just go on. If you have things that where your dreams, your expectations seem to always almost get there and then they collapse and fail, that's a curse. Just being honest. And you can see the vast majority of humans live under that curse. To be completely 360 on this, you have to understand that this realm is a cursed realm. Very few, even those who can figure out by luck or happenstance of how to break a curse in a certain aspect of their life, and they, let's say it's money, and they don't realize that unless you favor that, and that's the word I use, you can use the word blessing, um, to you, it will come in as a curse. It's an amazing statistic, and it's one that repeats itself. That I think that the vast majority, 85% of people who have won lotteries within 5 years are broke. They would tell you the money was cursed. And sometimes we want to be oh so optimistic all the time, but we can't do that. We have to be real with the situation. We live in a world that is cursed. And it would be lovely to see it the other way of a utopian, you know, paradise. All religions promise that. If you follow, you know, their beliefs, then you don't have to endure the pain, the suffering. That's how it comes in. We come in pain and suffering. Most people are afraid of death because they think it's going to hurt. Just saying. Hey, Chris, what's happening? You can overcome curses. Then they attach to love, and but you know that's it's true, Chris. I absolutely. But the thing about it is, we don't walk in love 24/7. Well, most of us try to achieve that, but sometimes you can do a kind gesture to someone, and they'll find it as an insult. What are you going to do? So, I love these convos. They just happen. Um, yeah, Rick, it's right. I mean, you have a depression. What is that? That's a curse that goes over the land. I mean, this shit's real. It just really is. I mean, I studied, because I come from when I was practicing my Christianity, uh, it was a different type of Christianity. Yeah. It was definitely on the mysticism side. And if you're into believing that a spirit can come in and possess you and endow you with supernatural powers, sure, that's real. I did. I believed it. Yeah. It's quite amazing. But I learned things. And even though I've rejected the foundation of that belief system, I cannot deny that what I was taught and actually seen in action doesn't exist. It did. Seen it. So if that can be done under the guise of a name or a belief system, well, those powers, those exact same powers, can in fact be duplicated, can be taught without the religious connotations. And, it's not bad to have a little bit of that religion. I mean, knowledge is good. You just have to be open-minded about it. People have belief systems. That's cool. I have belief systems. You got belief systems. Mine are constantly in refinement. Just saying. I mean, if there is, in fact, a supreme entity, consciousness, then for me to simply say that it doesn't change, why would I adhere to that? I did for a long time. No, things progress. So as it's complex, but then again, it's not. These same things I learned under the tutelage of people like Brian Tracy. Um, who's another one? Zig Ziglar, I can think. I'm thinking of another one. Norman Vincent Peale is another one. Napoleon Hill, another one. What I learned from them, it's the same power. It's the same magic. And it truly is magic. So getting into all that, because if you just change your perspective a little bit, then you suddenly you're walking in a reality of awe. You know, you can see it. It's like the Matrix itself. You can see individuals who've mastered aspects of magic, understanding, first of all, you have to master yourself before you can ever think about mastering reality. And rarely can you master others unless you have a knowledge and an understanding of how curses work. Because that's what, if and just study history. History shows that humanity has been cursed. It got so bad, folks, as we've read in the whether you want to say it's a myth, whether it was real, who knows? I wasn't there, at least not that I remember. You know, the Tower of Babel. That incident was right there, was a curse in full action. They cursed our asses. I mean, even if the story, you know, let's say, didn't actually happen, well, but then again, maybe it did, because where did all the languages come from? Why is the need for a broken language species? It should be that if you are a Homo sapien, you would speak one common language. Dialects could be different. Like, you know, if you live in Texas, you say, how are y'all doing? You know, you get what I'm saying. It was a curse. And the thing about it is, we accept it like, okay, yeah, yeah. But we were cursed because we had our shit together. We were cooperating. We weren't killing each other. Baby. We're building a stairway to heaven. And now we got the music to it. Imagine if we got our poop together and really began to say, the hell with all this war and this religion and all this politics. Let's just realize, hey, we all bleed, right? Most of us bleed red. Some, who knows? Uh, and said, all right, so let's take what we know, let's take what we have, let's take what we've gathered, and let's, you know, synthesize it down, and let's start rebuilding a. Whoa! It's like, hmm. And that would be breaking a curse. Said all that because these grimoires, they were written by people, mostly by men. One assumes, I don't know, I wasn't there when it was, but it shows a mindset that lived in a reality where they knew something. I mean, life 500 years ago was hard. Life is hard even now. It's just that we have more modern amenities. And as we continue to fracture and split apart, yeah, I mean, isn't that the whole idea of wealth? It's to relieve you of your physical burden. That's what they say, right? But anyway, so when these books were put together, I mean, living where you can see the matrix, you can be able to, even with your eyes open, you can see with your mind's eye that there is this grand tapestry, this portrait, and you're in it. But you're there because it's where it's happening. I mean, creation is, think about it, it's a pretty far out thing. And if you can create the circumstance in your life to begin to change your life using the forces and the powers, folks, I'll just tell you why when I look into this, and when you read it, you're practicing it, but I practiced magic for 50 years. And particularly the last 30 of those 50 years, I saw this magic working. I saw how it could cast a spell on an audience of 10 or 50,000. And I saw it in action. Now, truly, these were wizards. They understood something. Because even if you talk about an unseen entity that has this power, well, then it tells me that that power may not be so bent in one direction or theology or ideology, but maybe it's a matter of how you adapt it to your magic. I mean, if you truly want to be rich, you can get there. Everything comes with a price. The spiritual realm has a commerce of its own. You can call it the spirit commerce, but it trades. Some say souls, others you've got the tokens. And the more that you have the knowledge and that you actually put it in there, and if you're willing to pay the price, well, now we're going to truly see just how much of a master you are. Now, there's some who say, well, I don't need that. What I'm looking for is an opportunity that allows me to grow. Well, there is an answer to that. I don't know what it is, and magic will help get you there. But I'll just tell you this. If you're undisciplined, you lack consistency in your life, don't expect your magic to do too much. Don't expect the spirits to do that much. I mean, they see, they know, and there's no pretending. You're either in or you're out. And if you truly want to become here and begin to master these elements, it's going to aid you in the next realm immensely. Because as I said, there is a commerce that goes. And let's say that you want to find a way that will help unite humanity. Well, humanity's fractured in a billion different ways. That means there's a billion ways that can help unify. And of course, you want to be able to have your needs met, whether those needs may be small or great. And if that allowed you the time to be creative and do it in such a manner that where it doesn't become a burdensome to someone else, but there's a natural flow, magic is going to work for you every time. The angels, the demons, I mean, either they exist or they don't. I happen to believe that they do. But everyone's free to that. So Hello, Stephanie Marie. How are you, dear? The Vatican, they do curses all the. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. There ain't no doubt. Yeah. Esley, the Bible empowers man to become rich. Well, the promises are right there. You have to meet the conditions in order for the promise to work. But I can recite those promises to you. I know them. They're inside of me. You see, I come from the prosperity belief. Now, prosperity is an ambiguous word. Prosperity has a different meaning for every person differently. And the problem is that if you can't focus in on specifics, you're just kind of throwing out a fleece out there. If you're throwing a fleece out there, you're going to get fleeced. I'll just put it that way. But there is a process that works. It's worked for thousands of years. You know, I look at this from a perspective is that, all right, so what is it that you really want to do? Well, my life has always been heading towards what I'm doing right now. Whether you call it teaching or philosophical, conversation, spiritual, it's all been there. And through that adventures, the ups, the downs, the, you know, backstabbing and the turnaround. I mean, it, what a zoo. But I look back at it now with a different set of lenses. And it's like, you know what? I'm glad that it went that way. Lynn asked me today, she said, honey, she said, if you had one thing, if you could do to change your life, what would it be? And I looked at her straight forward. I said, nothing. Everything I've done has led to where I am right now. And that ain't a bad place. Why would I change? Why would I want to go back and change an alternate timeline in my life? I'm so grateful for the challenges. And the souls and the spirits I've met along the way, love every one of them. Maybe I hated a few of them at one time, but now, I mean, loved every one of them. Appreciated exactly what they did, whether it was good or bad in my life. Now that's magic. A person that can approach that, you know, you're on an adventure that's going to transcend many lifetimes. It's spiritual currency. All right. um, Chris says that means you. Well, thank you, Chris. Yeah. Now, the thing about that is, Chris, I don't think I read the small print because it required a price. I don't know. Sometimes the bigger the epiphany, the I find it favor in my life. I know that there is a supreme consciousness. I don't know what it is. I can't define it. I can feel it. I can sense it. But I do know this. It loves when it sees that I'm growing, when I challenge myself. And whether I take a right step or a left step or no step at all, it's living in me. And the thing about it is, you've got to learn that voice that encourages you, that pushes you. Never curse yourself. And if you do, reverse that curse. Pretty easy to do, you know. Your words can actually undo that. You can just simply say, you know, in fact, let's all say it, you know, of every curse I've ever spoken upon myself, I rebuke that. I reverse that curse, and now I speak favor where the curse once lived. Everything from this moment forward, favor shall be the power that rules in my life. There you go. Something like that, you know? Bum, 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 bum. Thank you, Lost in Space. Appreciate that. uh, so we're still going to go on because you see, I'm on fire, baby. Yeah. Because, I want to change this thing with the Deagle, this thing that everyone anticipates that, is the badness. And I'm saying that, you know what? Hmm. It says that only a spark will start a wildfire, That's all it takes. Because I got to tell you, you look at a conscious wise, you know, right now humanity's conscious is fragile, you know what I mean? And it needs magic. We need to be speaking spells over your house, over your community, and get those angels, get those divine ones, get them involved. You know, they don't like being bored. And if they're bored, that means they're going to be wandering off. No, 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 no. Get as many as you can and give them a mission. If it's, for instance, in your life that you want to start seeing financial opportunities and resources, then speak to it. Tell those angels, get off their ass, get out there and start making those opportunities manifest themselves. And they can be doing the stuff, the heavy lifting that requires on the other side in order for that actually to take place. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Hello, Nina. How are you doing? Yeah, Nina's got it. Give your guide something to do. Um, so let's just look at some of these, and they're pretty cool. They actually are. I don't know if actually any of them work. I don't know. This is the Grand Grimoire, with the Great Clavicle of Solomon. Solomon, magic. I mean, that's if you're looking at the Golden Dawn and any of that type of motif, uh, then yeah, and that's some heavy stuff, man. Um, I used to when David Barry was in there. David, wherever you may be, we just speak favor over you. We had, and you go back in the archives, got some really deep discussions on the Golden Dawn, and I got the book over there. Yeah. Says, in this book is so rare and sought after in our country, it has been called by our rabbis the true great work. And remember, Solomon, with the ring that Yahweh gave him, Jehovah, um, whatever that symbol was, controlled the demons. It said that Solomon captured Amadeus. And it was Amadeus that then subsequently subjugated his kingdom to do and build the temple for Yahweh. And why would Yahweh enter a building that was made by a demon? I don't know. This is, I'm just a simple guy. They were the ones who left us this precious original that many charlatans uselessly wanted to counterfeit, attempting to imitate the truth that they never found, in order to swindle ingenuous individuals who have faith in initial encounters without seeking their true source. Ain't that the truth? I have been there, where you want to believe in something so bad. And yet, it seemed without fail that there was always something that was interfering. Yeah. And then you blame it on yourself. Well, maybe I just didn't have enough faith. Well, you had the faith. That wasn't the issue. You just had something that had an understanding and knowledge. And it wasn't that your faith was weak. It's just that you didn't understand that there was a system. Anyway, Says this manuscript has been copied from various writings of the great King Solomon. This great king spent all his days in the most difficult search and in the most obscure and unexpected secrets. This is our Wayne Steiger's commentary. I have to maybe call BS on that. And here's why. But then again, I don't know. Because there's this story as well that what he had 300 wives, 700 700 concubines. Okay. I mean, concubines is, I don't know how you would say it in the modern day, but I guess it would be an open marriage, right? So that's 1,000 women. I mean, all right, I just don't see how that is such wisdom. I mean, did the guy have a sexual addiction? I mean, what's up with that? We're not supposed to talk about it. What do you mean we're not supposed to talk about it? It needs to be talked about because this cat is, given to over the centuries, supposedly had all this mystical power. I mean, did he have the Viagra before Viagra was ever? It's yeah, okay. Um, and the story goes about Solomon as well. It said eventually, he began to serve all these other gods that these women were bringing in. Hmm. So wait a minute. So there we go. It was the women again bringing their gods or goddesses. The Sherapos, yeah. I love this stuff, folks. It says, in the end, he succeeded in all of his endeavors. Okay. So they say. I've never interviewed him. That's the thing. Someone wrote me, and I thank you. And I'm behind. I'm going to get Mark. We're going to get Mark Smith on here. Mark, I haven't forgotten about you. Um, but someone said, what if there has already been this arrangement that, when you transcend over, that you'll actually get your interview with Lucifer? And I said, wrote back and I said, yeah, but who's going to be the audience? Who knows? Could still happen. Bum. He says in the end, he succeeded. He reached his goals of penetrating the most profound dwelling of the spirits, whom he obliged to obey him by the power of his talisman, the clavicle, since who else but this powerful genius would have dared bring to light the thundering words that he made use of to constrain the rebel spirits to his will. Okay. Question is, do other spirits have free will? Is it just human spirits that have free will? Well, no, we know that the angels apparently got free will of some sort, right? Bomb. So we have rebel spirits. Remember that. That's important. Because let's just be honest. I'm going to go a little bit over. Just stay. If you got to go, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for being part of this. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. And hit the like button. Yeah. The whole routine. But let's get back here to this. Most of the people I know in this group are rebel spirits. Now, I'm not saying that, we are, these rebel spirits, but I'm just saying that, if you're outside most religions, you're a rebel, right? And in fact, this God, this Yahweh, don't like rebels. Don't like him at all. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I could say something, but wisdom, right? Having penetrated up to the celestial beings, learn more thoroughly the secrets and the powerful words that have the force of a terrible and respected God. I wrote in a forum recently that I said, it's interesting. They keep telling me that the religion, when I came on, that there was this God of love. Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know where that God is. never met that God, never seen that God. Because if you're trying to tell me that the New Testament God is the Old Testament God, but he has a different covenant, well, here's the problem. You see, that Old Testament God in the book of Isaiah says that he changes not. But it also says that he's an angry, jealous, vengeful, wrathful God. All right, just saying. And it also then implies that this is the reality is that we're in a realm that there's this battle that is even above our battles. And maybe it's the fact that there's a constant war going on up there while we can't get our act together down here. I don't know. He said he discovered the secrets of the great divinity, made use and enabled us to understand the influence of the stars, the constellation of the planets, to prepare for the fulminating, the conjurer's rod, with its effect, which makes the spirits tremble, and of which God made use of to arm the angels to expel Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, with which God struck down the rebel angels participating their pride or imagination into the most horrendous abyss. With the power of this rod, clouds are formed, hurricanes are dispersed, and one can make them fall on the part of the earth that one desires. Okay, I got over a little bit, but here's my thing, and this is just me as a spirit. I look at this and I go, why would I want to get involved with this? I can read it, learn about it, but the thing about it is, I don't like the cast of characters here. I mean, this so-called God, uh, holy crap. I mean, I'm not feeling the love, is what I'm saying. And again, and we got other books. We got this one I think you'll love as well. We're going, this is, I forget which one of this one. Who is this one? The Secret Book of Artifice. Then we have the Book of Oberon. I kind of dig this one. This is a template to begin to form your own um, forbidden book. I thought we look at this as well because this came up, and so I don't know when we'll do this. Maybe do Friday. Uh, but this was interesting. The number of angels that visited Joseph Smith that was documented. And finally, another one. This is the Grand Grimoire. So, anyway, there we go. Love this stuff. All right. Hope you've had fun. You should. You know, you only have so many allotted days. You gave yourself, and it's you who gave that number. Your body is tuned to it. Um, so, and I do believe you can extend that number, but no matter what, make it fun. And for me, learning how to call those things that be not as though they are, that's what it's all about. It truly is. And that's where I come from. That's where the name it and claim it. We believe that, you know, if you would say to this mountain, and that mountain can be whatever is standing before you, whatever is holding you back, that which is preventing you of reaching a goal, a desire, a spoken, written desire, and not doubt in your heart, but believe that those things by which you speak, that which you say shall come to pass. Now, I didn't write that, apparently the other dude did, which is cool, but I have found that, this faith thing is dealing with the substance. It's the substance, baby. That's what it is. So, anyway, Enjoyed the convo. It was fun. See y'all tomorrow with Miss Trina and Miss Jenny. Always enjoy it when the ladies are here. And thank you, Stephanie Marie. Appreciate you, darling. Um, Lionel Nation. Yeah, yeah, I like Lionel. You know, makes a lot of sense. He's a good dude. So, yeah, if you haven't, check it out. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Steve, thank you, brother. All right, Corey, have a great one, and we'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow. Yeah, actually, tomorrow never does exist. It's only today, the now. That's what that always says. Remember, now faith is. It's always present. It can speak to the past and it can bring forth from the future, but it's always present. A little bit of a golden nugget for somebody. All right. Much love, everybody. Until we meet again.